Hi, it's Josh Gardner. I hope you enjoy this video about the inner workings of how universal life chassis function.
Another popular form of permanent insurance is universal life. Now, there's a lot of different variations of universal life. There's variable universal life, which means the cash value is invested in mutual funds. There's indexed universal life, where the rate of return inside the policy is a mirror of the S&P 500. And then there's just normal universal life, where you just earn a fixed interest rate. Universal life uh, definitely has its place. It's definitely got some drawbacks, but we'll discuss just universal life chassis in general. The first thing you need to know about universal life is it allows for a flexible premium. So for this example, we'll say the premium is between $100 a month and $1,000 a month. And the client gets to pick what they want that premium to be. And we'll say that for the sake of this example, this is a $500,000 policy. So when the client selects $200 a month to go into the policy, $200 goes in. And what happens is there's this faucet that sits over on the edge of the policy, and it's got just a little sieve on it. And what happens with that sieve is you have some rising cost. You have insurance cost and you have administrative cost. And over time, from say 30 to 70, those costs are getting more and more and more. So when you have this $200 a month and it goes into this $500,000 policy, in your first year, the monthly withdrawal for insurance and admin might only be $25. So whatever's left over, the $175 a month, that's in here, and that's either in mutual funds, that's in the S&P 500, or that's just a fixed interest rate, depending on if you've selected a VUL or an IUL or just a normal UL. But what's going to happen to these monthly charges over here is as you age out, these monthly charges, they're going to go up. And pretty soon, when these charges are $220 a month, you're not going to get an email, you're not going to get a notification from the company. It's just going to be $20 short from your premium payments to satisfy its expenses. And it's going to go back in here, and it's going to grab some cash, and it's going to take it back out. And so what can happen is the cash value on a universal life policy can actually start to go backwards the older that it gets, if the expenses exceed the amount of premium that's going in it each month. Typically, this happens when universal life is funded on the lower end of the spectrum. If universal life is funded up more towards the northern end of the spectrum, then you never really get into a pickle. But if you buy a universal life contract and you fund it on the lower end of the premium, more towards the minimum instead of on the maximum, you're going to get to a point down the road where your insurance and your admin costs are going to exceed what you're putting in premium. And when that starts to happen, your cash value will go backwards.